Stop, look, and watch. It's Crazy Josh. Okay.
A documentary.
Yes. Hello. We're off on our annual trip to see the newest Star Wars movie.
Yeah.
With our father driving this time instead of our mother. What are your guys' thoughts on the movie?
I hope it's good. Yeah.
I've only seen like one trailer, but like it looks good.
Father?
Star Wars isn't always good.
That's simply not true. But, I don't know. I think I'm looking forward to this. Force Awakens was awful. Rogue One was better.
I like both of them.
I like them
Yeah,
too.
I like
them too.
Their opinions are wrong.
Your opinion's wrong.
Technically, your opinion can't be wrong because it's an opinion.
That's the joke. Here we are at the Majestic,
Yeah, I was here.
the same theater we watched the last two Star Wars is at.
Exactly. And I was here on Friday watching Pitch Perfect 3, which was great.
Okay, so we just got back from seeing The Last Jedi.
Oh, I dropped.
These guys loved it. I thought it was okay.
We really liked it.
I loved
They're
it.
part of the
It's
problem.
I loved it.
Yeah. Now, everything I'm about to
You're
say,
part of the problem. Don't ruin the movie for us. Get out.
this is your video. What am I doing here? Everything I'm about to say about Star Wars, probably gonna change in the next 6 months to a year. All right. Even though I'm being
Whoa! Are you gonna pick apart the movie?
No, I'm not
okay.
gonna try to ruin it for you. I'm gonna point out things that I felt were bad.
Yes, you're gonna ruin the movie.
No.
Yeah.
I loved The Force Awakens when it came out. I made a video about it. It's very cringy now. I gave it a 10 out of 10. 2 years later, I hate it. 6 months after that, I hated it. Anyway, let's start with what you guys liked.
It's like the whole movie.
Okay,
In
that's not
general.
specific at all.
You didn't ask me to be specific.
Be very specific. There was a guy behind us who was like, for like 10 minutes straight, ridiculous. I'm probably going to repeat a lot of what Eric said to you
And
guys.
there was like this guy behind like Dad who like kept getting up.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, and then like during this one scene, spoiler alert.
Yeah,
So, no.
that's a given.
I'm gonna
We're going to
spoil
spoil the
something.
movie.
Yeah.
And the Rogue
Yeah,
One
like
already.
super spoil, like you didn't see it coming. But like the part when Kylo like turns the lightsaber to like cut the
Snoke.
Andy Serkis.
yeah, that guy.
Yeah.
The
Snoke.
smush face.
Too much
Smush face guy.
Smushy.
And there's this guy like farther back in the theater, and you could hear him. He's like, oh, that was awesome. What?
It was-
and we were just me and Gracie were just laughing.
It was a little.
Guy.
It was
Okay,
a little
so
predictable
let's-
that he wasn't gonna kill
Let's
her.
back up. Let's try to do it in order. Alright. Phantom Menace. No, that's not the real order. A New Hope.
Anyway.
So how did the movie begin? I don't remember. With a battle. Just like Empire.
Just
But
like every other
Yeah.
movie.
no,
Yeah, pretty much.
Not all of them.
Not well.
not to this scale.
No.
No, with
No.
Empire Strikes Back, the whole first act was a battle.
Yeah.
But so Force Awakens obviously trying to emulate and copying some elements from A New Hope. This movie trying to emulate and copy some, but not very many from Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah.
The two biggest things being that it starts with an opening battle that's obviously not just the first scene; it's the beginning of the movie, and the fact that Luke, which is Rey, is in the new ones, is separated and off learning from Yoda in the the whole movie while
Which is Luke.
Yes.
Yes.
Movie.
Yes. and also Yoda,
Yeah, Yoda shut up a little.
Oh yeah, Yoda shut
he
up.
looked awful. Anyway,
He's dead.
He's dead, Josh. Don't judge him.
Yeah, I don't judge a dead person.
Yeah, don't judge the dead.
yeah, he looked pretty.
Hold on,
he
hold
looked pretty good for a dead guy. I gotta say.
Oh, I have a question. If he was dead, then how do you make the lightning come down onto the tree?
He's a
'Cause
dead
'cause
Jedi.
he's a Jedi. He's Yoda.
Yeah.
Oh, but he
Come
still has
on,
powers.
It's
'cause-
Yoda.
But hey, props for you for looking into something.
Okay.
Yeah.
Come
Yeah.
on, he's a
That's
dead
what-
guy.
It's okay to question things. And then the other characters, because like the timeline wasn't as squished and messed up as it was in Empire Strikes Back, because this has been a flaw in the movie for years. People have noticed that Luke goes through like Luke goes through like a week or two of training at the same time that Han and Leia spend like a day or two traveling to Cloud City. Like the timelines, unless
E.T.,
Luke's...
are you gonna come in here, or are you just gonna wiggle on the floor? Come on!
He keeps sneezing.
Grandparents' dog has interrupted our session.
What's up, E.T.?
His name is E.T.
He like laid in his pee. You don't put your foot on him.
Oh, ew. Gross, E.T. Oh, what's up? Don't let him pee.
Anyway, we're just gonna move on from that. So yeah, it's obviously trying to emulate Empire Strikes Back, which is fine. It definitely did not directly steal from it like The Force Awakens did with Star Wars.
I didn't notice stealing. I didn't notice it.
We're not going to talk about Force Awakens because I could talk about that for hours, and you would not be pleased with any of it. I did mention earlier I like Han Solo's jacket.
In the Force Awakens.
No, in this movie.
Yeah, he goes.
You saw it hanging on a coat rack.
Oh.
With a Heisenberg hat above it. That's a Better Call Saul reference. Never mind. That's not true at all.
Okay, I was
Just
like,
made that up.
I was that never happened.
No.
They're like, when did that?
Yeah. So let's talk about the characters because we haven't really said anything yet. What did you guys think of the character? Let's go through in order. There's no order. Well, let's talk about Rey. What do you guys?
Poe, whatever his name is.
Dameron.
I thought we were talking about Rey.
Let's talk about Rey.
Okay, no, but I meant
We got
like
2 votes for Rey.
he's the first person like you see, really.
Yeah. I like Poe.
That's what I was saying.
I like Poe too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like he was
Poe's
supposed to die. He did die in The Force Awakens. So they wrote the script. Poe dies when they crash on Jakku. And then later in the movie, making the movie, they're like, well, we want Poe back for the final battle. And so they brought him back. And so there's a plot hole in The Force Awakens to which Poe just seems sort of to disappear. And it doesn't really match up because that. But they took a risk. They brought him back. And I did like him in this movie. He was very enjoyable. Now these guys disagree. You guys need to chime in. It's not just me talking.
Well, you're just like saying stuff.
Well, yeah, interject. Just put your opinions in.
You did like Poe?
I liked Poe.
I like Poe too.
Poe's nice.
Poe's nice.
All right, unanimous. Poe
We like
gets a
Poe.
thumbs up. Probably the best written character in the movie.
Well,
What?
maybe not the best.
Well, all right. Well, let's hear it. What do you think?
I like Rey the best.
Yeah?
Yeah. Just,
Yeah.
I don't know why, but
I mean,
do.
like I don't really have a favorite in like all the characters. I think
In these 2 new movies, or all of the Star Wars is?
well, in all of them, but like more specifically these first few movies, like Rey's really cool, but like I don't really like have a favorite character in all of them.
Okay.
But like I like the complexity of Kylo Ren, like in this movie.
Mhm.
How like gave him
Yeah.
like different sides and like is he really just completely evil or like
He was definitely
like when he
better.
was conflicted within himself.
He's definitely better than he was last movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's more
Character
complex
development.
and-
I
Yeah.
don't like Rey. All right, there's some definite character problems with her. One, we're supposed to really feel this conflict that she has in the movie, but I didn't feel a conflict at all.
I felt more with like Kylo Ren. He like had
More
Yeah.
inner
conflicted.
conflict.
Yeah.
It's my
Rey
hair.
was kind of more like, oh,
Or-
I'm on the good side, dark side.
No.
No, good
Did not
side.
feel it at all.
Yeah.
You know,
Like she leaned towards it like for a second, and then she's like, eh.
in seasons like 3 through 5 in Supernatural, they were really leaning towards like, oh, Sam is like this unstoppable evil force he's gonna become. Never got it at all. I just thought that it's a comparison I made, whereas like they're setting Rey up to be like this. We should go either way, but I never got that at all.
Yeah, I really felt like she was just good all the way. Like she like questioned it for like maybe a few seconds, like once or twice, but like not a lot. She was like definitely on the
Yeah,
good
because
side.
when he was saying something, when Kylo was saying something about
when he was
Kylo
when he was
Ben.
like join me,
when he
and then
joined me,
she's
and, like,
reaching like, I knew she wasn't gonna grab his hand. It was kind of predictable. She was gonna grab the lightsaber. Like it was honestly predictable.
When
Like, I
they're,
saw it
when
coming.
they're with
I
Andy
could see,
Serkis.
Yeah, after
The
she
smush
kills
face
or
guy.
he kills him.
I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
What's
Yeah,
the
and then it
character's name?
breaks.
Snoke. You
Snoke.
can call him Andy
Snoke.
Serkis. It's okay.
That's the
no.
actor.
He
No,
was
but-
Caesar in the Planet of the Apes.
It was kind of predictable, like a little bit predictable that she was gonna grab the lightsaber.
The 3 new ones.
I didn't see the first. I only saw the last two Planet of the Apes.
Doesn't matter. We're not talking about Planet of the Apes.
I know.
Just Andy Serkis. What were you saying, Gracie?
Oh, I said it was kind of predictable that she wasn't gonna grab his hand.
Yeah, I was like,
Oh,
well,
yeah.
for a second I was like,
Yeah,
I
they
was
start
like, what
fighting
if she
over.
does grab his hand? I was
Mhm.
like, you got to think about it. Like, what
Yeah.
if she actually does grab his hand?
Like,
and
yeah,
join
but she
him?
wouldn't.
Yeah.
And I was like, doesn't like her character doesn't seem like she would. But
Nah.
she could.
She could have.
I
but
don't
she
recall that moment exactly, so I don't have anything to say about it. Oh, we
Like
have
the
a guest. Hello,
Hello.
Richard.
Yes, sir.
How can we help you?
Oh, shit, I thought you was my grandpa. It's the only time he ever called me that. The rest of the time he called me Butthead.
Goodbye.
Or Butt.
That was our neighbor Clive. So, I think if they really wanted to throw us for a loop, Andy Serkis is telling him to like kill Ray. If we really want to throw us for a loop, he would have killed Ray.
But
So
I know. And I was like,
these guys disagree. I would have loved it if Ray and Finn had died in this movie.
No.
Because
I
yeah.
feel like
Definitely
there's a-
disagreed.
No, I feel like okay, if Finn had died, I'd been like, oh, like it makes sense. He tried to like
Yeah,
sacrifice
yeah.
to try and stop it. Like I don't think he would have stopped it, but I feel like he could.
Obviously not.
Well, yeah, he
Yeah,
was
no,
not gonna
I
stop
know.
it, but like he was like trying or
This
whatever.
teeny
Like I
little
could
ship
see.
that can't even fly.
I know, but like,
Yeah.
I could see like him dying because like he was trying to do
Mhm.
that. But like Ray doesn't really. It didn't really feel like she was gonna. Like I mean, of course, in that moment you're like, she could. He could kill her. Like
Oh,
he might
yeah.
actually
Oh,
like
yeah.
just go up and kill her. And so
Oh.
you're like, ooh.
No. See, I thought for a second that they maybe might do that, but then they started like, oh, he's never gonna turn. That could never happen, and then it was way too telegraphed at that point.
Yeah, they're like, he's never gonna turn.
Well,
like,
also, I don't really think that you can kill Rey because
Ray's
you
kind
can't.
of like the
She's
new Jedi.
unkillable.
That's
She's
not
like
what I meant.
Luke,
But
the new
yeah,
Jedi.
she's the
She's
the
the main
new-
character.
she's the
Yeah.
last Jedi or whatever.
Yeah.
So you can't kill her, and then
That kid with
when like the
room.
plot of the movie was Luke trying to make like, oh, I guess he was trying to make the Jedi race like die or whatever.
Yeah.
But it was like she didn't want it to. So it was like if you kill her, then what are you gonna do the next movie?
I liked Mark Hamill. I don't think Luke was written the best throughout the movie, but Mark Hamill's performance was really great.
Some of his lines were pretty funny though. Like I don't
Okay,
know.
what?
I can't remember. He's like, I can't exactly remember, but like some I know
The
some
jokes
of
in
them
this
were pretty
movie
funny.
were just the worst.
They were
Even worse
pretty
than the
good.
last movie. No. There was maybe 2 that
Okay, I didn't remember them, but like I thought it was pretty funny.
They're like
That-
stupidly funny.
Yeah.
You know?
you can't have those in a Star Wars movie. Those don't
No,
belong.
yeah.
Now, actually, well, here's a good example. The first joke in the movie where it's like, "Oh, I'm on hold. Can you hear me? Oh, can you hear me now?" It's like, what? Is the Sprint guy gonna pop out? Like,
Can you hear me
what is
now?
happening?
Oh, yeah,
Uh,
when he's like messing with them.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
was kind of
That
funny.
would be funny
No.
if like he was like an extra, you just see him like walk behind. Like
That
Can you hear me now?
all the jokes felt like the jokes they would make in the Family Guy parody of this movie. Because if the Family Guy did these 3 specials
Yeah.
that were their take on the original movies, and they made a bunch of those stupid kind of jokes. But it's Family Guy. That's the type of humor that it
Family
has.
Guy.
99% of the jokes fell out of place. There was like 2, maybe 3 that were sort of naturally weaved. And there was also a few times where someone would say a line, and it's not a joke, but then people would laugh as if it was a joke.
Like the
that's-
audience.
yeah.
Yeah,
Not
like,
people in the movie.
No,
Movie,
no,
not in the movie.
Harrison Ford's like, oh, you're not in this movie. Sorry, JJ. He didn't direct this
Sorry.
movie.
Yeah, it
I was
says
honestly
Jedi-
so-
He produced it.
I was honestly surprised that Harrison Ford like wasn't even in the movie like at all, like a flashback or something.
No,
I
was
could have
like, I
sworn
wasn't
like 2 years
surprised.
ago I saw on IMDb he was going to be in this movie.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
what
then
I
it's a
thought
change
too.
to the script.
Cause like I assumed there was gonna be some sort of like flashback or something
Yeah.
like that like Luke was gonna have or
Yeah.
Leia. I almost called.
No, I didn't think
I forgot her name.
he was gonna be
Luca.
there. I didn't think he was gonna be in this movie at all. I was
No.
like, he's dead.
I was
Yeah.
assuming like some sort of
Well, I'm
flashback.
dead, he fell
I'm glad
down
he
a
wasn't
shaft.
in, because if he was been there at all, it would have felt forced. You know,
Forced.
Oh.
That was amazing. No, but
Yeah.
the part where Luke had like the little dice or whatever.
Okay.
No, okay, but then hold on.
He died, and he's like, the Force dice are still in there.
No,
and
but it
they
Yeah, I
fade
thought that was
away.
super weird. I was like, wait, why? Okay, he like gave it to Leia, but like that's when you like don't realize he's forcing himself there.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
wait, but like.
But then it's like,
those-
Come
oh,
on,
okay.
Luke.
Those
the
were-
situation is really
weren't those
forced.
like
Oh!
weren't those like Han Solos or something like that, or something like had to do something? It was in the Falcon.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
So
then
no,
Luke
when he-
took them out. didn't
Yeah.
he?
Maltese Falcon. Yeah.
Yeah, when he
Which one
gave
is
them
that?
to Leia, like okay, well,
It's not a Maltese Falcon. It's the
That's-
Millennium Falcon.
That's not what I was agreeing with.
I know,
Yeah.
but I said Maltese Falcon. You're like, yeah.
Okay, well, I didn't.
He
Even,
didn't care.
I just didn't realize what you said.
I know.
No,
She's
but
like,
like,
"Shut up,
when he gave him to Leia, it was kind of sad.
Yeah, I was like,
I
oh.
wanted to
Yeah.
cry. I was like,
Yeah.
But it doesn't work if it's not real.
No, but
well,
like,
you
okay,
didn't know
in
it
that-
wasn't real in
No,
that
but, like,
part.
That's not an excuse.
It was
No,
kinda
stop,
predictable,
stop,
but-
like him handing it to her and then like them being there for those few seconds
Mhm.
and then him walking away, that makes sense. But when Kylo
was
came
sad.
back and then he found them, I was like, wait, why are they there? And then just
Yeah,
disappeared.
it's still, even
That
if
was
they
weird,
had,
that was weird.
it'd still be kind of bizarre, but
I mean, I get like her holding them because like if he like right as he walked away, they could just disappear.
don't get me wrong, there was definitely some good stuff in here. Much more good stuff than there was in The Force Awakens. Like, with the whole thing with Luke at the end, I've said this before, that obviously you shouldn't do this what is that, a chip on your shoulder? Just kidding, I actually don't know what that phrase means. I've said this before, now, you obviously shouldn't do this every time, but a good way to do a twist is to do something to make the audience think that it's really terrible. Like, I'm just gonna spoil the season 3 finale of Lost here.
I don't care. It's been a long time. They had a long time to watch that.
Exactly, it's been like 10 years, come on.
Yeah.
There's, at the season 3 finale of Lost, we've had flashbacks every episode up to this point, and the flashback for that episode is Jack, and it appears to be after his father's died, and he's grown a beard, and he's flying around like all these different places, and he's really depressed and stuff. Except, there was no time between that it was possible. His dad died, and then he immediately got on the plane and crashed on the island. And so it's like, and the season 3 flashbacks were really terrible, except for a couple. So it was like this precedent, like, this is really terrible, like, the writers are running out of ideas, and then it turns out it's a flash forward. And so not only is it not terrible, it's actually really good, and it's really insightful to Jack's feelings after they get back from the island. And so that's how I felt when Luke showed up. It's like, well, when he first showed up, it's like, how did he possibly show up?
Yeah, I was like, how did he fly there?
We're talking about this on camera. Like, how did
Yeah, I
he...
was like, how did he get there?
How did he possibly show
Yeah,
up?
did he
And he's
get like a ship from somewhere? How did he
well,
fly
and
here?
it's so ludicrous.
Yeah.
The first thing I thought
You're
was,
like-
oh, he's just Force Luke. But then he was there to the point where it's like, okay, it's not Force Luke. We're doing this. They're not going to explain how he got there. It's a plot hole. And then he survived. He's Jesus. I said that to Grace.
He's Jesus.
He survives all this firepower. And I, at this point, forgotten about the idea that he was a Force ghost. And I was completely out of it at that point. And so it was horrible to there. And then it turns out he's forced. He really forced himself in that situation. That's gotta be in the Family Guy episode.
When I started suspecting it, one, like, he didn't blow up after getting
Yeah.
shot so many times,
Yeah.
and Kylo was like,
No.
whoa!
I thought it
Anyways,
was
Oh, and then, like,
terrible.
then I was like, wait, what? So I was like, why didn't he die? And he was just like,
Yeah.
When
And
he
then-
brushed off his shoulder.
That's what you were doing? No, I didn't pick up what you were doing there a few minutes ago. No, that was a terrible joke.
That was hilarious.
No.
No,
it's funny.
well, he didn't do anything with his face though. He just went like that. Like he was literally.
But
straight
nothing
his head.
actually happened
just
to
like-
him, so...
Yeah, that's why he went like
Anyway,
that.
so I thought that whole sequence was awful, and then it turns out he's a Force
well,
ghost.
I could
and
tell,
or
like,
not
after...
a ghost, but he's...
Yeah,
Because you
yeah,
could
yeah.
see Kylo's feet, like, it showed his feet
The
moving,
red.
and the
It made
That's
the
a
red,
good
red.
detail that I didn't pick up
That-
on.
and
That's
then-
what triggered me.
And
That's
then,
what
like,
got
it
me.
showed
I was like,
You were triggered?
Luke's,
I was triggered.
like, foot going, like, like back.
It's
The camera
slipped.
can't see it, but then you didn't see the red.
Yeah.
The salt didn't move and see the like red earth.
The salt, huh?
At first,
Is there
when it-
salt on that planet?
He was like, salt. I was like,
Salt.
why is he licking the ground?
I really liked the aesthetic of the planet. Super weird way to show us that it was
It was
salt. Some
salt.
guy licks the ground. He's like, oh, salt.
No,
Because I did think
He
it
like
was
touched
snow.
his finger.
Okay, he touched his finger and he goes, okay, he doesn't do it like you explained.
I know.
He
I
literally
was
goes,
exaggerating.
Salt? Like that. Like he questions
But why
it.
did he lick the ground?
Yeah, I was like, dude, what are you doing?
Like, what is this?
It
Snow?
and
Dirt?
like, why did they
Ooh.
have to say that it was
Yeah,
salt?
and it was
like,
right
you
after
didn't really
someone-
need an explanation.
Well,
for
or
the
else we
ground.
would have assumed it was snow. And
And-
we can't redo Hoth. We already
No.
did that in The Force Awakens.
And it was right after someone stepped on it too. Like where their dirty shoe was.
Yeah.
It's like,
You're
what's
like,
this?
No, it wasn't in the footprint.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
well,
that
he
person
touched
Was
the
it?
footprint.
Yeah, he touched the footprint and licked his finger.
Why was he doing that?
Because it's stupid.
No.
I was like,
So-
what's this guy
No,
doing?
okay. But when Kylo like did like the thing where then it showed the red, I was starting to think something was like the slickness of it because his foot kind of slipped. I thought he was
Yeah.
gonna like slip or something. He was like stab him.
Oh, pratfall.
But then when he did, then when
Yeah, and I was like,
Luke
oh.
did the thing, there was no red.
And I was like, wait, then how is Luke there? And then we're just like, is it a hologram? And I was like,
Oh yeah, so I kept saying hologram in the theater. I didn't like
That's what I was
no,
saying.
what? I
couldn't
didn't say
think of
it
anything
multiple
else.
times.
that. You said it once or twice. You said it at least 2 times.
Like I knew it wasn't.
Maybe it was Gracie that said
It was
that.
me.
Yeah, it was
I knew
Grace.
it wasn't a hologram, but like I couldn't
Yeah,
think of what else it would be.
Yeah.
We didn't think
But-
it was the Force. And
yeah,
we were
I never got that. It was like-
Yeah.
I never thought that it was a force, but it did show him before it
No,
cut
okay,
back to
wait.
Rey or whatever when he like puts his hands on the rocks and he closes his eyes and everything starts to lift up, and so
Oh, true.
that was a hint.
But I didn't get that even until it showed like Luke sitting there, like, you know, pushing himself there. Like I didn't think of that because like when it disappeared, because right before he was like, if you kill me out of anger, it'll like live with you forever.
I
like,
really
your
thought he was
father.
going to quote Ben, and that would have been horrible.
Oh,
If you strike me down, Vader, I will only become more powerful than you can possibly
Oh,
imagine.
I know, but
No.
like no, but wait. It's, like right when he said that, then I thought, is Kylo just imagining him? I mean, I didn't remember the part about how literally everyone else saw him and was shooting at him.
Yeah.
But like, I was like, is Kylo just like imagining him? Is this like an imagination?
Fire at that man. What man? I don't know, just fire.
okay,
No, but I thought he was like imagining it, and he was like so
into it.
yeah, like he needed to like kill the Jedi that he like imagined it there, and I was like, oh,
Okay.
it's just like it's cool.
So what were you
And
gonna
then
say?
there was also a hint before he had like walked out before the firing, when after he gave Leia the dice, and then he kept walking and he turns to the C-3PO and he winks. Did you catch that?
Yeah, I saw him wink,
Yeah.
but I
He
didn't know why
winked at
he
him
winked.
and he
I
kept
don't-
walking.
Yeah, but that's a weird detail.
I thought he was just like winking at.
I feel
I
like
thought
that
it
was
was just a
supposed to be
dumb
something.
Yeah, I thought he was just like.
'Cause-
I don't know. I
Because
don't
he
have an
winks
explanation
at
for
him.
that.
He's just like,
No,
because he keeps walking.
I don't
It's
remember
like-
the Asian girl's name at all. I don't think she had a
Rose?
name.
Rose.
That was her name.
I don't think she had a name. Right.
Rose,
And her sister was Paige.
the girl who died at the beginning.
Oh.
Yeah, at the very beginning.
Yeah.
When she
yeah.
was trying
When
to
she
get
grabs
the
it,
light.
she's like,
yeah.
Because of the necklace.
Yeah, I
and
totally
she
thought they
goes-
were like lovers. That's what they were going for.
No.
And
At
I was like,
first,
it's my sister.
I was just
When
like,
I saw
She wasn't
Rose,
British.
when I saw Rose's,
It's my sister.
when I saw Rose's face,
Yeah.
it kind of looked like she was older. So I thought like the girl who died, Paige, was like her daughter or something.
Oh, no,
But then when she
I
stood
thought
up,
you
I was
meant-
like, oh wait.
I thought you meant that was Paige, like 50 years in the
No.
future after she died.
No, she looked kind of older, so I thought it was starting to think that I was her like mom or whatever.
Yeah.
And then when she like got close to the camera, I was like, oh wait, no.
Now, I liked Rose. Her saying she's in love with Finn and kissing him at the end.
Ew, that was gross.
Weird.
No, that was
Especially
so weird.
if we're going with my lesbian theory. That her and Paige were lovers. They could also have been sisters, but let's not go there.
Okay.
okay.
But yeah, I mean, I really liked this little team that they assembled. It's Finn and Rose and Poe, and like twice they showed that the girl who is, I don't remember what her part was, but well, she like worked in the main area with Ellie from Jurassic Park, and
Oh, the girl with the Chuban with blonde hair.
yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Anyway,
that girl. Yeah,
it was shown like twice that she was with
Yeah, she was
Poe,
helping
and
them.
so then that it made sense when they like nodded at each other
Yeah,
that she was
no.
helping them because
Uh-huh.
they actually set it up without some verbal thing like we're friends, you know, like
Yeah.
they didn't
Yeah.
force it. It was just a natural thing, like we saw them hanging
Yeah.
out, so they're friends.
Like,
It's
yeah.
forced. All these jokes are What's the word for it?
A force.
Contrived. And so then they go to this casino on this planet. I did not like the casino at all. I said this before. It looked way too human-y. Like
There were humans there though.
I know, but it didn't look like it belonged in a Star Wars movie.
True. It was like.
It was like, what is this,
It's
Casino
good.
Royale? Like,
Well-
James Bond's gonna pop out, you know?
Was
Indiana Jones.
did they ever mention like Earth in Star Wars?
No,
Ever?
it doesn't exist.
In Star Wars doesn't
Yeah,
exist.
long
It's
time
all
ago.
the alien planets up. Okay.
E.T. is in it, though. He's in,
Oh,
Phantom Menace.
they're in a different galaxy.
well,
Oh, duh, okay.
It's in Star Trek, alright? Because they got
Yeah.
Earth in Star Trek. Can you
No,
close
yeah,
the
because it
door?
literally says in a galaxy or whatever.
Long
Wait, hold on.
Far away.
It's on my shirt, but
A long
read
time
it.
ago, but somehow in the future.
It's
That's in
somehow
the Family Guy
future.
episode.
Right. I'm stupid.
So yeah, I did not like the casino. I didn't like those weird
too.
horses.
Sorry, serious.
Ponies.
The
They were like, I
ponies.
like their ears. They were cute.
No, they
They were
felt
cute.
weird.
They were
Again,
cute.
the whole planet seemed out of place in Star Wars, and I know it's a vast galaxy, but it just didn't match the aesthetic that we've seen in every other single planet in
It's
the
because it was like
7 previous.
it was
movies.
all the rich people
I know. It just seemed like they could have done something.
who were also evil because they were making.
Yeah.
Well, they were like
Weapons
they're
for-
kind of neutral because
I mean, I liked the stuff on the planet. It
Yeah.
just felt like
oh yeah,
they
someone
could.
made
They-
good weapons. What's
they-
it called? The evil people. I just forgot the name.
Wait, what
Like, it
weapons?
blanked out.
The weapons dealers?
No, like Kylo Ren's
The
like
First Order?
First Order. Yeah, it blanked out on what it was called.
It's just the Empire.
Yeah, with the First Order. That's what
Yeah.
I was thinking.
I
Yeah, so
feel
like
like-
someone made weapons for the First Order or for the rebellion or like both.
Yeah,
Yeah, I liked that the
Yeah,
guy
like
who turned
Harry
on them. Well, when
Man,
it
that was
was
stupid. I was like,
no, I liked it. It's business. You got it's
Yeah, like I
business.
see how it happened. I mean, obviously you're mad because you're like with the characters.
No, I liked it. Yeah.
Well, yeah, obviously you're like, why?
yeah, he just like starts
'Cause
blowing
you're
up the
annoyed.
ships, and I was like,
Well, you're annoyed because you're like with the characters, and then you. I
I
mean,
wasn't. I liked it.
I mean, it makes sense. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
he's gonna turn on them. He's not.
But
with
then when
them.
BB-8
yeah, it's business.
BB is
He doesn't
controlling
care.
the chicken walker. I thought it was gonna be that guy, and I was really annoyed
well,
that
he was
if
controlling the what?
the chicken walker, the
When BB-8 was like,
controlling the giant walker.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah, they're called chicken walkers.
Oh,
Yeah.
I was really confused for a second.
BB-8 controlling ships and stuff is weird in this movie, but
Yeah.
I liked that. I thought it was gonna be that guy, like a way to change a heart. No, he probably died too. Also,
Probably.
ridiculous that
Probably.
Phasma is like right next to Finn when that explosion happens, and then
Yeah.
she's like way far away.
the chrome.
Yeah, and she's the only stormtrooper in all of Star Wars that has blast-proof armor.
Yeah.
The stormtroopers are infamous for being a terrible army, really easy to kill.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're horrible.
Except for
like, shots.
Finn, who refuses to die.
Isn't
in
it?
Phasma.
Wait, what is it? Oh, like in Lego Star Wars, like on the Wii, you can change their blasters to like carrots or something.
Okay.
They like anytime they blast you, it, like won't really kill you anyways. Like in
Okay.
this, like
Oh, you
game,
gotta
but then
slug
they
in the
just
frame
turn
of
into
it, yeah.
carrots.
What's the girl
and then you
stormtrooper's
just
name?
knock 'em over.
Phasma.
Her cape bugs the crap out of me because it's like,
It's like on
halfway
sideways, and I'm like, can you drop it on?
It's like on this shoulder. It's like right here at
Yeah.
the like part where it ties, and I'm like, that's not how you wear it.
Yeah, because like this side's like this, and the other side's like.
Like,
And I'm like, dude, either put it on like both shoulders or neither.
So let's
yeah,
start
like
with
took it off.
Finn and Rose and Poe
keep
and
them
the other
nice.
girl. I really, really liked at the beginning, but then they sort of went in a weird, different direction. I thought their plot line, because there was like three and sometimes 4 storylines going on in this movie. I thought their story was going to be, they find this guy there, and their whole thing would be breaking in and sneaking into the ship. But they spent a lot of time on this planet, and like Rose like breaks down and cries, and like she knows some people there. It was, again, the whole planet was really out of place, and the kids should not be in Star Wars. We learned that with the prequels. They were terrible actors, alright? And he force swept at the end.
Oh yeah, that
He wasn't
kid
even
was-
holding a broom. He was just doing this, and it was just moving.
No, he had
That's
a.
'cause-
I know.
No,
He
but
was
you went like
sweeping
this,
with
and
the
then
force.
the broom like went towards his
But
hand,
I feel
and then
like-
he starts moving.
Obviously, it was very noticeable. It was kind of like faint too because his hand was really close to the broom.
Yeah,
the broom was
so
right here.
like-
Yeah.
And he put his hand like right here, and it's just like
Yeah, well, I was like, okay, they did that to make it seem like, oh, maybe he didn't. Maybe you just thought he did.
Yeah.
There's different runs of Psycho here, you know? You don't understand what that
No. I
There was
just
this
nodded.
scene in Psycho where Norman Bates like looks at the camera, and there's two versions. One where it just fades away, the face to black, and the other where it fades a little like skull on his face, just a little bit, and that fades away. And they only showed that in some theaters, so it'd be like, oh, did he really do it?
Kill the
It was
person?
this clue.
Like, did he really like kill someone?
Yeah, it doesn't matter. We're not talking
Was
about
this
Psycho.
clue the multiple stories?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the
I
end
saw
of
that at my friend's house though, so like it had the multiple endings, and
Yeah.
then it said this is what really happens.
Clue.
Yeah.
I love that movie. But we're not talking about that
Anyway.
movie.
Never even seen Clue.
Pretty good.
It's
So
good. It's good.
Yeah. We didn't go in order at all. We started out
Oh
going in
no.
order.
We were.
All right. Who haven't we talked about? Carrie Fisher. She was good.
She's really good.
I was supposed to say Leia, but then you guys said
There we
Rose.
go.
I was like,
I like her
That's put a
performance.
stamp on that.
thumbs
What?
up.
I liked her performances.
Yeah.
Too. And like her in the story was like good. It didn't feel like she was in it too much or too little. Like she
Yeah.
had
Well,
a
she
nice
was.
balance.
Oh, I liked
in
that
it.
she was in it more than the last movie.
Yeah, but like
Yeah.
I liked that she had a nice balance. She wasn't in it like
Oh, yeah,
barely any, and
Yeah.
then she wasn't in it like too much.
In the
which
last
is, like,
movie, she was
nice.
only in like two, three.
Yeah, she wasn't
Yeah.
in
So it
so
was
many
like-
scenes.
And like 5 minutes in, Gracie's like, "Is she CGI?"
Oh yeah, I wasn't sure.
She thought she had died before they made this.
I
movie.
wasn't
no,
sure.
She had like
No.
already filmed her scenes. and
That's
stuff.
I asked you because I was like, okay, that's like really good CGI. If that, if
Yeah.
like, if she's actually,
Yeah, big
I was
step
like,
up
whoa.
from Tarkin last year.
Or like when
Yeah.
they did Leia at the end of
Horrible.
At the end of
bad.
what?
Of Rogue
And
One.
Rogue One.
Oh, she was
Oh.
so.
oh
bad.
yeah, that was.
Like I did not like that.
No.
I was like, oh, she looks so bad as CGI. Like it was just like too CGI.
The one,
Yeah.
Like, super fake.
I forgot his name already.
Andy Serkis.
What's his
Smush
name?
face guy.
Snoke.
Smushy.
I was gonna say Snork. Sorry.
Snorkel.
Smushy.
Snoke.
Smushy.
Did I say that right?
Yes. No.
Snoke.
Sarah, you're
You-
like drifting out of frame.
You could tell. You could tell he was CGI. Just like
Oh,
like
yeah.
obviously by his face because it was all like smushed in, but like when he walked, it was like weirdly like he had like a sway. In
I don't
it.
remember
know
He
walking
why.
looked
at
too
all.
tall.
When he stood up and walked towards Kylo, like a little
At the
bit.
like very.
I don't know,
near
he-
the beginning.
His walk was just weird, and I was like.
He also like looked a little too tall, or maybe that was just because we were sitting in the second row.
Well, and I told Grace. Oh yeah, some of the stuff looked weird because we were sitting
Well,
with
it's
Yeah,
second
because
row.
like
I
there
told
wasn't any like,
Gracie
large
at
amount
the
of
beginning.
seats together. We needed like 7 seats together.
I told Gracie at the beginning. I was like, I bet Snoke is like 3 feet tall because
Yeah.
he was gigantic
He
on
looked
the
kind
hologram.
of short.
Yeah, but he was like a normal height guy.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, he was sitting. That's why he looked short.
No, when he stood up.
Oh, okay. But
He
even
wrote the whole screen.
yeah. And why did his legs take like 10 minutes to fall?
Yeah.
Because it's like the guy's looking at him like after this whole battle's taking place, and his legs just fall.
Oh
And I'm like, why did they fall? Like,
Because he was sitting down.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
so why didn't they just stay in the chair?
Yeah,
Well, because
it was just for a dumb joke.
well, I mean, like
Yeah.
the front half got cut off, so obviously this part would lean. But I don't get why it would fall off
Yeah.
the chair.
yeah,
yeah,
and so
yeah,
much
yeah.
later when nothing happened.
Yeah. Just like all of a sudden, it's like
Oh yeah, and so this whole thing happens. They like Rey and,
They're
and
those, like,
Kylo
red
Ren have
battle
this
guys?
this battle Imperial like guards. Yeah, the Emperor
red
had them.
ones.
Oh.
But they like go through this whole battle, and then the Resistance blasts open blasts the ship with light speed, which was creative. And then
I saw that coming when they were talking about light speed. I'm like, they're gonna
Yeah.
run into it.
and then
Yeah. I liked that part because there was like no sound,
And then it was like,
oh yeah,
and then all of a sudden, like
But
I
then,
like that. I don't know why.
then the movie went on for like 40 more minutes. Which
It
was,
looked like that was gonna be the end.
Oh yeah,
I
yeah.
thought it was the end.
super weird. And then there was another point where it seemed like, okay, this is the end. And then like 10 more minutes, like what is this? Return of the King? Ridiculous. And so
well, like, okay, the part where they're like fighting over the lightsaber,
yeah,
like I didn't.
Rey's not that strong in the Force. I didn't like how
No,
good
they
she
said
was.
they're counterparts,
Ah,
so they're equally as strong.
No.
That's why it's split in half.
Really?
Well,
instead
obviously
of
she's
one of them
strong in the
winning.
Force, so she could. Earlier in the movie.
I know, but Rey's definitely the worst written character in this movie because they seriously underdeveloped what her skills are supposed to be. Plus, she's a Mary Sue, but let's not get into that.
Mary Sue.
Yeah, Mary Sue. So wait, did talk about? I forgot what I was gonna say. Oh yeah, so it's like Rose as a Rose and Finn, I was really hoping they were gonna go in and like infiltrate them and spend a lot of time like trying to blend in because there's like they can't get to the place they need to, so they have to.
But then
leave.
like suddenly they're just like in costume or like wearing.
Yeah, I think it might have
outfit.
shown them in the locker room or something, or getting some costumes or something. I
No,
don't
it
know.
didn't.
Not costumes, uniforms.
No, they didn't get
No?
uniforms. They were just
Yeah.
wearing them, and then they put they threw a bunch of trash on the ground, put it over BB-8.
And why did
Really?
Ellie from Jurassic Park have an evil BB-8 with her? There was a black BB-8 just hanging out with her.
Oh yeah.
With who?
Ellie from Jurassic
Purple hair
Park.
girl.
Yeah.
She didn't have one.
No.
Yes, there was one shot where she and Leia are talking. There's BB-8 and there's a black BB-8.
The black
the
BB-8
black
was
ones are
in a
from-
different shot.
The
No.
black ones were from the first or the first order.
Earlier in the movie, it was super weird.
I didn't see that.
I didn't see that.
I
I
remember
I thought I noticed
Maybe
it
you
was-
made it up.
either.
Because
I blinked too hard and the image flipped and instead of white it was black.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't remember.
I don't
that.
get why she had purple hair though. Like no one
Oh,
in
yeah.
Star Wars
Yeah,
ever has like dyed
like,
hair.
where'd she get the
And then
dye
she just-
from? They're
then
in
she just-
space.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, like no one ever has dyed hair, and
Yeah,
then
where'd
she
she
just
get it?
It
suddenly
just
has
seems like a
purple
weird
hair.
choice.
Like,
Yeah.
like,
She's a
it's-
human. Why are you giving her purple hair?
Yeah, like why can't she have like blonde hair or brown?
She was blonde
hair?
in Jurassic Park.
Yeah, like why did she just have her blonde?
Yeah,
hair?
that was really weird. It's just like,
brownish. Hair.
where'd she get the dye? First of all, like
Like nobody,
live in
nobody
space.
in like the rest of the galaxy. You never see anyone else with like oddly colored hair like that.
unless they're aliens.
Well,
Of
yeah,
course.
but like a human,
yeah,
dyed
Yeah,
their hair.
Yondu here with the bright red hair. Yeah,
It's just
so
weird.
I don't know. Yeah.
That threw me off. Like every time she was on screen, I was like, why does she have purple hair?
I said though, I did like the aesthetic of the Resistance planet they go to with the red shooting up, red
Yeah.
dust shooting up instead of the salt, and these
That's
weird
cool.
like flyers that have to have like jet ski down.
Yeah.
I thought it was
That was the salt. It was shooting up. It wasn't dust. It was the salt.
well
It
was
the
the
red
was the
salt.
red salt as well?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, okay.
That's what
I
was
was
the
really
salt.
confused.
Yeah.
No, I thought the
white
salt was
the salt.
on top and the red was just like.
It doesn't
the dust
matter.
and
No,
the
I thought
planet.
I thought the salt was snow and then there was salt under it.
No, it was all
The
salt.
white is salt.
Oh, I thought the red was the salt.
It might have been as well,
Cause he touched the red stuff and then when he licked it, he was
Yeah.
like, salt?
but
Oh,
the,
so maybe there's
the
white
white
salt
was
on
the
top
white
of
was
red.
definitely salt. The red might have been,
Oh, I thought the white
Oh,
was
okay.
snow.
but
Anyway.
I don't
no, that's why they said it was salt, so we didn't think it
Oh.
was snow. But I felt like they could have done that better. Like they're going down to the planet and Poe's like snow, and Leia's like salt. Okay, that's
salt.
obviously
That would've
not like
been-
that.
You would have hated that if they did that.
I would have hated that too, but less than the way they did it. So.
Or he could have been like, this, like, something about like, is this
I
salt?
feel like
or
one
something
of
like
them
that.
could have like walked on the ground and noticed their footprints and been like, oh,
If
like
if
then there could have been a close-up
I
shot of them
would've
like
preferred
salt
if-
falling out of their hands.
I would have preferred if nobody had mentioned it, but you have to explain it because they obviously it was all white, so you have to explain that it's. I would have liked a red planet actually, so they didn't have to explain it. Doesn't matter.
Well, like, okay, wait, say, like, someone was walking, and then they,
Yeah.
like,
Picked it
notice
up.
their footprints, and then you just see a shot of them picking it up, and then, like, you can clearly see it's salt.
Yeah, they just
So
like
on
pick
the
it up and
camera,
it's
like, no one says, like, oh, it's salt.
Yeah, they just kind of
Like, no, they just kind of pick it up
Or
and let it fall.
the guy who licked it, he could have just like picked up the salt and just been like, but then just
Then,
kept
like,
going. He didn't have to say salt,
Yeah.
like, or
He could've
licked
just
the
been like,
ground.
But I
and
like-
then there could have been a close-up shot of, like, his hand holding a bunch of salt.
But I like
Because
the
of
ship
that.
had like a little thing to help it fly. It was a
Yeah.
cool look. We haven't
it's-
seen something like that before.
Yeah,
That
and then
was
it was
really
all, like,
Yeah,
that
and
was
then
really cool.
and then we have to defeat another Death Star in this movie, even though it's a teeny thing. They said it's from the Death Star.
it's
The
Death
cannon?
Star.
Yeah,
It was
they
like
said it was Death Star technology.
Yeah.
But Death Star, we have to defeat a space cannon in every movie. You know?
Why
They
not?
didn't
Am I
really
right?
Did they defeat
Yeah.
it?
No.
No, they did.
I know, but it was still the enemy at the end. The thing they had to defeat.
Yeah, they didn't. The enemy didn't.
And,
kill the people in the
yeah,
shelter,
So I
so.
totally would have preferred that Finn had died being stupid. Because, because we...
I don't mind either
Poe,
way, but, like,
we and
I could have
Poe.
seen him, like, dying, like,
Yeah.
doing that.
I
Like,
almost
it seemed
did.
like
Nah,
he
I
would have.
Well,
when he took off the headset, like when she was saying something and then
Yeah.
he took it off, I totally predicted she was somehow gonna knock him out of the air.
Uh.
But I thought she was gonna knock him out of the air, and then she was gonna go in the cannon, like
no, I didn't
stop
get that.
it. It wasn't obviously gonna stop it. That little
Yeah, they're
ship was
just
gonna
gonna
go in the cannon.
blow up.
But I could see her knocking him out of the air. I was like,
Throughout the
Very cool.
movie, Poe and we learned that you can't just always go crazy in. Sometimes
Yeah.
it's good to retreat. And there was a mantra that it was like now or never. They said it like 3 times in the movie. I thought that was good. There was another phrase they said 2 or 3 times. I don't remember what it was, but it was good to have like a theme and a mantra going through the movie.
Yeah.
But so that's why I was really hoping that Finn was gonna die from stupidity, because like he didn't learn this lesson that Poe learned, and it would show, because like you're supposed to love Finn. I don't love Finn, but the average fan loves Finn because he's the new main character next to Rey, and so him dying, would have invoked that lesson even more. And so I would have preferred if he had died, and Rey. If everyone died, that would have been great. I like that Luke died.
Another
That seemed like
Rogue
very
One.
symbolic and like okay, they said peaceful, but it seemed like very like finished. Like if he had stayed longer, you'd been like, what is he gonna do now?
Yeah, exactly.
What
Exactly.
What is he doing?
A big problem in movies is
I
like,
like
you have
how
too
they
many
have
characters.
them,
You have to
like,
give them something to do.
okay. You know,
Yeah,
like if
so, like,
everyone
how he
died, you
just,
can't
like,
create another Rogue
disappeared.
One, John.
Yeah.
Can't have another Rogue One where everyone dies.
So I liked how
Although
that
I
was,
get that
like
because
he
they can't
just
be the next movie.
kind
I
of
like
like
that, yeah.
disappeared in his like
You know,
robe,
Felicity
floated
Jones
away,
was terrible.
like blew away in the wind
I don't
and
know
stuff.
who it is.
I thought those were like peaceful
Jin.
ending for like the characters. Like
Yeah.
so he did all that to save them, and then he just like.
Those totally stupid, pointless penguin pogs, what did
They're
you?
porgs.
Porgs that
I
were
think that's how you say it.
that were on Porjay, that were on
No,
the planet.
They were on the
Literally,
island.
Yeah, they were totally stupid, and
The penguin.
everyone left when they were cute, which is the only
That
reason they're
was
in there.
funny.
Oh, hello,
First of all,
Sirius.
no, it wasn't.
Another
Second of
dog.
all, that's the only reason
so
they were
many
there, and
dogs.
you reacted exactly how they wanted you to. Was to laugh. Oh, that's cute and funny.
There's so many dogs in this house.
I know this is the third dog that's walked in. And
We just need Sophie to come
yeah,
in.
Sophie, and that's all of them, at least for today. Oh, hello, Penny.
And then there's Penny again.
Oh,
Anyway,
hi.
I don't know. Is there anything else?
We've been talking to the camera for like 20 minutes.
I know. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
No.
It was a great movie
I still
overall.
thought it was really good.
It
Yeah,
definitely
it's a
has some
great
good
movie.
stuff in it. Much better than The Force Awakens. Still some really terrible stuff.
No.
Yes.
It was all
From your
great.
point of view.
Yeah, from your point of view. From your
And
biased opinion.
I'm not biased. You guys are biased.
No, every opinion's biased.
Well,
This is how
obviously,
opinions
yes.
are.
I don't claim that the originals are perfect movies either. I know they're great, but there's some problems with them too. The prequels, phenomenal. Not a single problem with them. You could not fix the prequels if you tried. I actually would rather watch all 3 prequels than The Force Awakens.
You really don't like The Force Awakens.
No.
and you loved it when it came out.
Yeah, I know. That's why. Because in the 2 years since that's come out, I've learned I did a little less with Rogue One. I did it less here. You can't just blindly love something just because it's Star Wars. Oh, I like it because
Of
it's Star
course.
Wars. That's exactly what Dad said. And
Yeah,
you
but
guys,
I still like
and you don't see the problem with that, which is why you're part of the problem.
I see a bit
Look,
of a problem with
we've-
that.
Okay,
I
okay,
see.
let's just end the video.
Look, this is a spectrum, right here.
No, let's
We've all grown.
let's just stop talking about it.
We've all
Let's just-
grown.
Let's end the video.
You guys have admitted it's not a perfect movie, right?
Yeah, but
I'm not trying to
we're
convince you
not
it's the worst movie ever, but you admit it's not perfect.
Well, it's definitely not the worst movie ever. No, that's
no
the Percy
movie
Jackson
is
movies.
perfect.
And I.
Oh, those movies suck.
Those are horrible.
So you guys have come to realize it's
Them
not a perfect movie.
themselves
I know
as a
it's
movie.
not a complete garbage. Right? We can agree.
But
There's some
let's
good.
just end here.
There's some good
Let's
and
just
some bad.
End here.
Right? Good and bad.
Let's just end here.
Break.
Is it more good or more bad?
More
More
bad.
We're good.
Definitely more good.
No, see now we should have ended.
Okay. Bye.
So, are we
Choo choo.
That's the movie,
Ooh.
including Rogue One, but not including this one numbering.
Rogue One. You can't really spoil Rogue One.
No, you
Watch
you really
watch
can't.
Star Wars and you get spoiled.
How can you not
They
spoil
found
Rogue One?
What?
Because Rogue One
Because this
happened
literally
just
the first
before.
paragraph is the plot of
Oh yeah.
Rogue One.
Yeah, man, everyone dies.
Yeah.
Just
True.
not okay.
In The Last Jedi.
No.
No.